whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.
Hi, I'm attorney Gavin M. Richard. Check out my latest book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. For approximately 2 years now, I have gone on a painstaking quest to investigate the rise and fall of an American icon, Bill Cosby. In the mid-1980s, there was not a star that was higher than Cosby. Advertisements with Coca-Cola, Jell-O, Kodak, along with the #1 television show for 5 straight years in a row. On Thursday nights, it was must-see TV on NBC. Cosby resurrected the genre of the traditional family sitcom that was once thought dead by television critics. He did this as a Black American with an all-Black cast and showed mainstream network executives in white America that it was possible to be successful without showing the worst in people. He also demonstrated the power that television had, as it can make younger people dream to be the best that they can be. However, like many celebrity stars, unfortunately, they all come crashing down, sometimes by their own fault, others not so much. In this book, I attempted to highlight certain things. We go in depth into both of his trials in 2017 and 2018, respectively. What if I told you that these criminal trials were politically motivated by an overzealous district attorney? Will you also be shocked to learn the attacks on Mr. Cosby did not start in 2014, but also in the 90s, not long after his attempted quest to purchase a major network? From where did all of these allegations of sexual misconduct come from? Were the accusers telling the truth? In the 2 years of research, with some help from others interested in learning the truth and facts about this case, we discussed both the legal reasons why his prosecution and trial were illegal, unwarranted, and also the possible personal motives as to why this may have occurred. Most importantly, we warn about the dangers of prejudice and why trial by social media, or mainstream media rather, should never be the norm. All this and more in The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. Available on Amazon this fall in Kindle and paperback format.
The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in the United States is available on Amazon Kindle. Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure to get that if you have Amazon Kindle. We are live here on this Tuesday night here on Random Topic Tuesdays, the hottest live stream in the cosmos. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight our topic is as follows. 3 UVA football players murdered allegedly by a former teammate. Agendas Forever, Black Panther movie riddled with agendas, and $1 Million Slaves. All this and more, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking tonight. Won't be a long broadcast, I can assure you. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Ladies and gentlemen, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We're hot and heavy here. Also, please, if you have not, I want you to buy our Creole seasoning, NornisCreoleBlends.com. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nornis goes great with every dish. Buy Video Soul. which is available on iTunes and Amazon, and also our theme, ladies and gentlemen, got to get on up. Feel the groove, get on the floor, got to get on up. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get on up, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, cause on the dance floor is where we're
Show me what you got.
Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
And move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the
Oh, baby, yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up. Baby.
Feel the groove, get on the floor.
All right, let's get on up, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, family? Welcome to another edition of Gavin Richard Presents Random Topic Tuesdays. I apologize for running a little tardy. Believe it or not, before we were about to start the show, my power went out briefly, like there was some type of surge. And of course, if the power's out, that affects the internet and cable, which is why I was running a little bit late. But I was trying to start it right on time at 7 o'clock. But nonetheless, you all are here. Thank you. Thank you. It's Tuesday. We're going to go ahead and get started. Oh, man, there's a lot going on in the world, sadly. first thing I want to talk about. So yesterday, I went out and saw the Black Panther movie that's been out, and it's been a huge success according to the box office receipts. The new Black Panther film, which is called Wakanda Forever, has made an estimated over the weekend $342.8 million. Now that's on a budget of $250 million. Now, of course, I saw it, but I went in there seeing it. And I'm not gonna give away too many spoilers or anything like that. So just be warned if you haven't seen it. There may be some things that I've said that'll set it off. But if you plan on go see it, then maybe you shouldn't watch this. Now I'm not gonna go all in the way in depth into a movie. I'm actually planning to do the review for Patreon. For anybody that hasn't seen it or has seen it and wants to look, I will be posting a Patreon video there. A couple of videos I promised y'all I haven't done, and I gotta really work on it. But just warning y'all. But I will say this about the film: if you want to take your daughters to see it, it's good for your daughters. Boys, your sons, maybe not. If you're into feminine stuff, you love it. Now, I also think, now of course, it's directed by brother Ryan Coogler, who did Fruitvale Station, Creed. He did the original Black Panther. I honestly think in the film it is dedicated to our beloved brother Chadwick Boseman, who passed away before shooting could even commence. So they had the script already for Black Panther 2 and had to do reshoots or rewrites rather, because the star actor in the film, died of cancer unexpectedly. No one expected this to happen. So when he dies, of course, they had to do rewrites. But I understand that. But the film, to me, let me give the positives and negatives. I'll just tell you, positive wise, the cinematography is great. The performances by the actors, or I should say actresses, because it was mostly women that went in there, were good. Especially Angela Bassett, who I think always does a phenomenal job. I thought Shuri, she did a good job. I thought, oh, excuse me 1 second. Okay, excuse me, y'all. Dad is trying to come into the studio. I got it. Excuse me. Okay, so nobody can see you yet, Dad.
It's all right, no problem. I'm good.
All right, everybody say hello to Dad.
Hello, guys.
Okay. So, as I was saying, when I was talking about the Black Panther movie, that's out, the sequel. I went to see it last night with Tanisha. She wanted to go see it, and I was iffy about it because I knew it was going to be basically, even though I haven't seen this movie, but it was basically the Woman King Disney version. If you see, it's uh, but there was some nice moments in it. Like I said, the actors, I thought Angela Bassett did a fine job. I thought Shuri did a fine job. Um, they introduced the new character. If you follow the comics, if you follow Marvel, you know who that is, and you've seen. Obviously, if you look at this poster, although the poster really doesn't do it justice, but that character that you see at the bottom, in the reflection of the water, they have that there. But the film has grossed over $340 million. And to answer your question, Darius, there was that agenda that was present. And what was interesting when you watch the film, And my main thing, I'm not gonna go too in depth, but there were no there were no black men that dominated that actually dominated the film. No black male lead, which was something that I didn't care for. The brother who played Winston Duke, who plays uh, Umbaku, he didn't have that much screen time in it. And I'm not gonna go all the way in depth, but he got his ass whipped. Let's just put it that way. And so they didn't give a lot of black men.
The great gorilla kind of behind it.
Yeah, it was it was a great action film. Now that agenda that we talked about was in there. It was certainly it was for girls. The women were running stuff uh, in Wakanda. Now you felt there was the presence of, of course, throughout the film they made it a tribute to Chadwick Boseman. So I thought that was nice. There was some stuff in it. Of course, I thought the cinematography, the graphics were good. They do have, but I mean, realistically, you already know probably who the Black Panther was in the film, and she's fighting all of these bad. And I just said it. She's fighting all of these bad guys. So when she was the technologist, the sister. So uh, feel free to go see it on your own time if you choose to. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'm gonna actually do a direct movie, my own review of it, so people who have seen it can look check it out. I'll upload it to Patreon. But it was, like I said, it was Disney movie. And if you look at Marvel already, if you look at the comic books, they are pushing it mainly with these feminist LGBTQ agendas. Because you have Hawkeye, his protege is a girl. You have Captain Marvel. You have, remember, even at the end of the Avengers Endgame, when everybody came back and you saw all of the girls of the comics going at Thanos, from Captain Marvel to the Valkyrie to who's a girl from
Black Widow.
Black Widow died at the end game, but all the girl females, that characters that you can think of from Marvel, including, I was taking a girl from no, that's DC, from Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, all of them, they had a team. So they're all doing that. I mean, Hawkeye has a female. Hawkeye has a female protege. Uh, you got now the Black Panther, who's a girl. You got, it's set up to be that way. So it's set up that way. That's the direction they're going. It's like in DC, Superman's son is now a gay character. So yeah, well, I mean that Nebula, I believe was, Karen Gillan, who plays Nebula. Yeah, all, if you look at it, so they all go through that. Um, Danielle said she only saw the first Iron Man. This the first, damn, Danielle, that's all you saw. So you never saw Thor, you never saw the Hulk, Incredible Hulk, none of them after that. Well, you could just watch it on TV. You ain't got to buy a ticket. Darius said they said the future was female. Yeah, but ain't gonna be no future if the female and male don't get together. But yeah, I'll do a review on it. I won't talk too much in detail. Dad, I know you haven't seen it. You probably ain't anxious to see what it was about.
I like to see it just to have an opinion of it, just to see the movie. I like going to the movies.
That he does. Yeah, I know you were behind that yell. All right. So that's all I have to say on that. Other thing I wanted to talk about too before we get to the big serious topic, is $1 Million Slaves. This is a new book. Well, it's not a new book. It's actually been out since 2007, and it was written by William Roden, and it's called $40 Million Slaves. And if you all probably have heard of this book and seen it, but it's called $40 Million Slaves: The Rise and Fall of the Black Athlete. Rise, Fall, and Redemption of the Black Athlete. And I don't know why it's not even letting me. So I can't even pull it up on Amazon for some reason. And even though I got it on Kindle, I was clicking the link and it wouldn't let me go. But I recommend everybody, especially when we talk about these athletes today and what's going on. I want to take a look and do a review on this book, even though it's for 2007. I want to read it myself. Of course, after you all finish reading The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, which is my book, you all should read this one and check it out. But basically, it's about Roden, who's a New York Times columnist, wrote how black athletes still find themselves on the periphery of true power in the multi-billion-dollar industry their talent built. Now, what's interesting about that, and I'm sure in this book he mentions athletes like Muhammad Ali and Jim Brown, who we all knew, and Bill Russell, we could throw him in, who are activists as well as athletes. And to a certain degree, even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, because at one point, because I look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and he's really a former shell of himself from that 1967 summit, when he's going around criticizing Kyrie Irving and Ice Cube for talking about how they're preaching anti-Semitism. And this is a man who, originally his name was Lou Alcindor, whose father was a police officer, and how angry he was when he saw the black people in New York, his hometown of New York, that he saw get beat up, men getting killed, shot at for no reason, and decided to be a black Muslim, or follow the teachings of Islam, I should say. And I'm pretty sure, being that he was a Muslim, he had to have been close with Muhammad Ali. The pictures show him together with him and Jim Brown and Bill Russell. Now, yeah, Kareem is getting older. Of course, we look at your Charles Barkley, your Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal. There's something different. They're younger and know better. And especially, I was shout out to my man, RB Side 1814. Shout out to him. He actually had a video on Twitter where they actually have a new documentary out on Shaq. And frankly, ladies and gentlemen, I would rather watch the toilet spin circles around a turd than to watch this documentary. Because your Shaquille O'Neal, I have lost a lot of respect for in recent times. Your Shaquille O'Neal, who a lot of people say he will do great things for people. I've seen him pay for people's engagement rings. He's paid for laptops. He's bought houses for people and taken millions, and that's fine. But to use your platform to attack another black man, especially over something he didn't say, he actually posted a link to a video. And then on top of that, you criticizing him for this video that he shared, a link he shared, you actually had the film playing in one of your movie theaters, Shaq, according to what's been posted. This brother, Shaquille O'Neal, has his docu-series that's playing. Yeah, this R&B posted this. A couple of he said, back then I would have been excited to see this. Now this can be shoved in the toilet for all I care. This guy really has let me down. But you see, Shaq said himself, his job was, he said, I'm about making people happy. Now, what does that mean? That's good. I like to make people smile and be happy too, but at what expense? Am I selling my soul to make a few people don't look like me smile and giggle? Is that worth it? Now you're in the entertainment industry. Of course, you got to you got to have an attractive personality to draw people towards you. You got to have, especially if you're trying to make money, you know, those things sell. You can't be a bland person. I get that. And I don't consider myself that. But at what expense, Shaq, are you throwing someone else under the bus? And of course, we know what Charles Barkley is. So I don't have to go through that. But and I'm not putting the audio. You could just see the video there because you know if I play the audio, I'll get hit with a copyright strike from Time Warner. But I want to read this book because it gives you insight and it goes beyond Charles Barkley. It goes beyond Shaq and others. You even go back to athletes. I mean, I'm sure he talks about Jackie Robinson and Althea Gibson. Most particularly, as I looked at the summer, he talked about the Negro Leagues. And a lot of people forget that before Jackie Robinson integrated the MLB, there was the Negro Leagues where baseball was segregated, as they point out, but you had these black-owned businesses that were functioning, that were able to provide for themselves and families. And then, as a result of integration, as a result of Jackie Robinson going into MLBs, everybody thought, well, the white man's ice is colder. And that, in and of itself, destroyed the Negro baseball leagues. You know, Satchel Paige played in Negro leagues. Josh Gibson. You know, I believe it was it was Mickey Mantle. I could be wrong. Who said that Satchel Paige was the greatest pitcher he ever saw? They were in awe of these black athletes then. Jesse Owens, who went and actually before Joe Louis knocked out Max Schmeling, destroyed the Aryan race when he won 4 gold medals in track and field. And yet Adolf Hitler acknowledged him, but FDR wouldn't let him come to the White House. We have to get to a point where we can't worship these athletes anymore. They are not Muhammad Ali. The average athlete right now does not have the testicular fortitude, and I'm willing to say that as a Muhammad Ali because Ali was able to was willing to put his career on the line for his religious beliefs. They weren't even going to because he refused to be drafted in the army. They were going to do like they did with Elvis and Joe Louis. They weren't going to put him in the front lines of Vietnam. Not the heavyweight champion of the world, but they wanted him to be morale for the troops. And he knew if he had gone into the army, that thousands of other young black men would have been killed in an unjust war. And he said, I couldn't do this. That's why he said, Viet Cong ever called me nigger. And he was right. But you think LeBron James is going to throw away millions of dollars for your kids? Charles Barkley going to throw away that job at TNT? Shaq? No, they're not going to put that on the line. So we can't treat them like here. We can't treat them, and I've learned this myself. An athlete is just an athlete, somebody who plays sports and good at it. That's why they get millions. That's it. I'm not saying they can't have an opinion. Yeah, they can express their opinions and so forth, but a lot of them are bought and paid. Their monies are tied to other groups. And if your money is tied to other groups and services, they're not going to have your best interest at heart. You have something to say to that?
Not at this time.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, but I'm going to check that out. But the You all hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and please support the channel by donating to the Cash App and PayPal. As you know, the channel is not monetized. This was some sad news that happened on yesterday. Uh, 3 UVA football players were shot and killed by their teammate, allegedly. I have to say allegedly because we don't know all the facts and circumstances of the shooting. Um, we weren't there. The suspect's name is Christopher Darnell Jones, and according to reports, what's happened is that 3 players on the UVA football team were alleged to have been shot by their former teammate. Are you leaving? I'm sorry, y'all.
I'm coming back. I'll be back.
Oh, okay. So, according to reports and what the police are saying, he was shot in connection to a shooting that erupted on a charter bus at the on-campus Culbert parking garage on before 10:30 p.m. Sunday night, as students were returning from a class field trip to see a play and have a meal together. The 3 UVA players that were killed were identified as Devin Chandler, Lavelle Davis, and Deson Perry, that were killed, while 2 others were hospitalized. Before the arrest, U.S. Marshals, with their guns drawn, descended on Jones Jr.'s mother's home at about 10 a.m., looking for the ex-UVA football player who turned shooting suspect, but he was not there. WWBT reported that Jones Jr.'s mother could be seen sobbing in a van with other children close by. According to at about 11 o'clock on Monday, Jones Jr. was apprehended following a 12-hour manhunt, and he's being held at the Henrico jail on 3 counts of second-degree murder, 3 counts of using a handgun in commission of a felony, and a video arraignment scheduled Tuesday in Albemarle County General District Court. So we have actually video footage, and his father, Christopher Jones Sr., actually spoke to reporters, and it was sad to watch, but we're going to play what he had to say here, ladies and gentlemen. Fair use. This is coming from 13 News Now.
We're learning more about the shooting suspect, Christopher Jones Jr. He was arrested just outside of Richmond, not far from his family home, though it's not clear if he had planned to make his way back to his family. Now, his parents are speaking out about Jones and the shooting. His mother sobbed as she tried to understand the accusation against her son. She says she didn't see any warning signs, and she just spoke to him on Sunday. His father, Christopher Darnell Jones Sr., says his son was a good student and well-liked, though he says something felt off when he saw him a month ago.
He had some problems. When the last time I talked to him, he said some people was picking on him or whatever. He didn't know how to handle it. I just told him, just go to school. Don't pay him no mind. Do what you got to do. He was real paranoid when I talked to him about something. He wouldn't tell me everything. I don't know what happened between then and now to cause this to happen.
Jones Sr. says now he wants to talk with his son behind bars in person to learn what led up to the shooting. He says his heart goes out to the victims' families and he apologizes on his son's behalf.
We got more actually on this. Let me say this too. What it sounds like, and I don't know all the facts, but it sounds like this could have been a possible bullying situation, because it seems that Darnell Jones Jr. was kicked off the football team previously. He was not on the football team, and what was he doing on the bus? How did he get there? Or if he was there,
encountered several victims
exactly
of gunshot.
What happened? He was on the football team in 2018, but never played a game. So 2018, we're now in 2022. So I'm assuming he's a senior by this point, if he finished school at all. Of course, they said that this marks the 599th mass shooting in America. They try to make it about the guns, but it's really not about the guns, ladies and gentlemen. This is about man up time. A man
Shot
crisis.
wounds. The shootings occurred on a bus full of students returning from a field trip. 3 of the victims did not survive.
We begin with the shocking shooting on the University of Virginia campus, which has left 3 members of the football team dead. Well, I'm John Roberts in Washington. Sad way to start off the week, Sandra.
Indeed, John. And we are monitoring every aspect of this story for you at this hour. I'm Sandra Smith in New York. This is America Reports. The suspect from last night's shooting is now in custody. Police say Christopher Darnell Jones Jr., a student and former Virginia football player, shot at least 5 people on a bus that was returning from a class field trip. Along with the 3 who were killed, 2 others were injured.
Jones then fled the scene, sending the UVA campus into lockdown before police were able to find him and arrest him.
David Spunt is live on the scene for us there in Charlottesville, Virginia, where we're getting more and more news as the minutes go on here. David, what do we know right now is the status of the 2 injured?
Sandra, we know one is in good condition. The other is in critical condition at a local hospital. Authorities not releasing their names for privacy reasons. People still trying to put the pieces of what happened together. The motive in this horrible tragedy, this terrible shooting that happened last night just after 10 p.m., still unknown. Before we get to the suspect, let's focus on the victims here. These are 3 men on the football team who lost their lives. Devin Chandler, a second-year student from Virginia Beach, Virginia; Lavelle Davis Jr., a third-year from Ridgefield, South Carolina; and Deshaun Perry, a fourth-year student from Miami, Florida. The 3 were shot on a charter bus behind me last night, Sandra and John, just after 10 p.m. on campus. They went on a field trip with a class to see a play in Washington, D.C. They just returned to the UVA campus when police say the gunman fired multiple shots.
My heart is broken for the victims and their families and for all those who knew and loved them. And they are all in my prayers.
And the man who pulled the trigger, according to police, is Christopher Darnell Jones Jr. He's in custody right now, taken into custody just before 11 a.m. in nearby Henrico County. It's not clear what happened immediately prior to the shooting. The police chief today announced that Jones was a prior problem known to law enforcement. Listen to this.
Mr. Jones came to the attention of the University of Virginia's threat assessment team in the fall of 2022. In fact, in September of 2022, our Office of Student Affairs reported to the multidisciplinary threat assessment team that Mr. Jones, they received information that Mr. Jones had made a comment about possessing a gun to a person that was unaffiliated with the university. In other words, a third party.
And according to the chief, Jones was involved with a concealed weapon violation outside the city of Charlottesville in February of 2021. As a student, he was supposed to report that information to authorities. He didn't. That information never made it. Clearly, there were several communication breakdowns there. We know right now he is in custody, waiting to find out more about how he was apprehended. We know he was taken down in a local custody, but right now the president of the university said the focus is on the victims, the 3 men who lost their lives, and there will be a vigil at some point to honor them. But a sad day here on the campus of the University of Virginia. Sandra,
A grieving
John.
community, a grieving campus there in Charlottesville as we await more word from the ground there. David Spunt, thank you. John.
It has been confirmed, guys, if you've heard that too, that I'm looking here in the news that the suspect was actually on the bus, Mr. Jones, with everyone there. He was actually on the trip. So what it seems like was there was a class, not the a team of football players, a football team, but it was an actual trip, a class, a field trip with everyone there. And somehow or another, one thing led to another. This is just my opinion. They probably said something that may have hurt them, or something even more personal than that. And he allegedly opened fire, killed 3 of them, and injuring 2 by accident. That's what that seems like to me. Of course, I wasn't there, and I don't know the facts of the case. He is presumed innocent, and minus any mental issue. Of course, if there's some mental issues, and I don't know, but it's sad when you have a situation obviously like this. And I'm listening to one of the things I caught, and you saw this too, Darius, the father who said he hadn't spoke to his son over a month. And what that tells me personally is you've had a father, it seems, that was not involved in his son's life. Because if you don't, I don't know any parent, especially if they're actively involved in their kid's life, that doesn't speak to them every day. My father, who is older, will call me even though I'm working and I'm a grown man, but I'm talking not even once in a day, but he'll call me at most 3 or 4 times in a day to ask me where I'm at. You okay? Where you at? Where you at? My father does that. My mom, does the same, almost the same thing as well, but not as much as my father. He's a little more extreme. And it's a sad situation when you see that, especially if he's being bullied and he went and grabbed a gun. And bullying is a big issue. But nowadays, people back then they told people to just let it go roll like water off the bat. Words that they say that it can't hurt you. But when a motherfucker puts hands on you is when you're supposed to go hard. But bullies, specifically, we didn't go and grab a gun. We would go and sock them in the mouth. And that's what you have to do with that, but not grab a gun and shoot someone. And according to this, they're saying he allegedly faced a hazing probe as a football player, which means nothing. I don't know exactly what could have caused something like this, but it seems like he was set off by something. And this happened because he opened fire on a bus coming back from a trip to DC, which doesn't make any sense why their guns being brought on there. But it's not that they're allowed. There's a law that's laws that are in place that keep you from possessing guns on a campus. But it's not about easy access to guns. You pass the law stating you can't do it. But this is about beta males, and obviously this gentleman did that. Now, he made his first appearance in court today, and we have I don't know if we have video footage of what he said in his first court appearance that's presently, but what we do have and note a legal expert. Now, it was postponed to Wednesday, and I believe the reason it was postponed was further documentation was needed.
We begin with a breaking news update this afternoon. The arraignment hearing for the University of Virginia shooting suspect Christopher Darnell Jones Jr. is now postponed. Jones was scheduled to appear virtually before a judge in a general district court in Albemarle County this morning, but because the courts don't have the paperwork yet, the hearing couldn't move forward. The arraignment is now postponed until tomorrow at 9 in the morning. Jones faces several charges, including 3 counts of second-degree murder for that deadly shooting on UVA grounds late Sunday night that left 3 UVA football players dead. And as we wait for that hearing, we've already heard from top lawyers this morning on the deadly shooting and what happens next. U.S. Attorney Christopher Kavanaugh, along with Commonwealth Attorney for Charlottesville and Albemarle County, released a joint statement saying, quote, "The United States Attorney's Office for the Western District of Virginia and the Commonwealth Attorney's offices for the City of Charlottesville and County of Albemarle are actively working with local, state, and federal law enforcement in their efforts to thoroughly investigate this tragic incident and we'll bring you any potential charges in the appropriate jurisdiction.
Meanwhile, a memorial for the three victims who lost their lives in Sunday's shooting continues to grow on UVA's grounds. Alex Little hails from Charlottesville, where students and staff are receiving comfort and support during this difficult time.
Alex, talk to us about the atmosphere that you're feeling.
Right now, there is a lot of reflection and a lot of healing that is visible throughout campus right now. And this is one of the spots that we've seen grow a lot over the last 12 hours. This is the north gate of the football stadium here on the grounds of the University of Virginia. As you can see behind me, just a growing number of flowers paying tribute, like you mentioned, to those three UVA football players shot and killed. But I also want to show you another location that we just came from. A little bit far away. It's the train overpass on Rugby Road. It's one of the more well-traveled roads here on the grounds of UVA. And you can see that the face of the train over and taking in a moment of silence, paying respect again to those three UVA football players shot and killed. And with classes now canceled, the school has now really focused a lot of their attention on sure that it gives the resources for the students here to heal and to try to find some sense of normalcy. There's grief counselors working today. There's therapy dogs as well. And we actually caught up with the handlers of those therapy animals today. They talked a little bit about sort of their role today and how they're trying to bring that sense of normal back to students here.
A lot of these students are away from home and away from the family pets that would give them comfort. Time and time again, with UVA and found students coming in, hugging Willow or any other dog and talking about how it makes them think of home.
Comfort dog.
And for anyone who may have family or students here on the grounds of UVA, those grief counselors and therapy animals will be at the Family Advocate Center here on the grounds until 8 tonight. Live in Charlottesville, I'm Alex Little for 13 News Now.
UVA is actually set to, of course, Coastal Carolina ball team, Coastal. And apparently they're trying to decide whether or not they're going to go forward with the game. I believe they are going to probably look at canceling the rest of the year. That was actually reported, just dealing with this tragedy. Now, I do have some good news. The running back who was shot, one of the people that was shot, they've actually identified him. His name is Mike Hollis, who was actually a UVA running back. And he's actually from my adopted hometown of Baton Rouge. The law offices of Gordon McKerna, of course, I'm familiar with them, notified WDBJ7 that the office was cleared from the family to report on Hollins's status. So according to this, they say Hollins is awake and alert and is communicating. He was previously in the ICU, but he's now doing better. So that is a bit of good news to hear that this brother is doing fine. Mike Hollis from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Of course, they have didn't name the other individual who was injured, but McKerna was a close friend of the family, and he spoke to Mike Hollis' mother, Brenda, earlier Monday, and Brenda's worked for McKerna's law firm for the past 7 years, and his son, John, played AAU basketball and high school football with Hollins, so that's how they know each other. But he's doing fine. He's out of, he's off the ventilator, which is good news, which means he's breathing on his own. So those are the three men in order: Devin Chandler, Lavelle Davis Jr., and Deshaun Berry.
We begin with breaking news. A suspect is in custody in the deadly shooting that killed 3 members of the football team at the University of Virginia. And
News desk, our very own Sophia
I'm trying to play a video. There's no video. Trying to see if there's video of
at the University of Virginia.
the coach. Let's see.
WVBJ7's Isabella Ladon joins us now in studio.
Isabella, we know 3 football players died after a shooter opened fire on a bus Sunday night. How are university officials responding?
Jean, university officials are offering therapy and counseling resources to students so they can start to heal from these recent events. Earlier today at a press conference with UVA's athletic director and the head football coach, we learned officials are still waiting to make a decision about the future of the football season. The UVA community is in mourning after the shooting that killed football players Devin Chandler, Laval Davis Jr., and Deshaun Perry. The suspect, Christopher Darnell Jones Jr., faces 3 charges of second-degree murder.
Just like many of you all and many of those that are very close to the situation, still in shock, trying to rationalize, but also find encouragement in the community with those that have come out and support.
A student who was on the bus when the gunfire started says it all started when Jones started fighting with the football players.
He was like, you guys are always messing with me. He said something weird like that, but it was very bizarre because they didn't talk to him the whole trip.
Governor Youngkin visited the memorial at Scott Stadium on Tuesday.
We want to pray for the 2 students who are still recovering in the hospital. And this is a moment for us to come together.
One of the hospitalized students, Mike Hollins, is reported to be out of his second surgery, off a ventilator, and doing well.
Sunday was one of the worst days of my life. You know, it's the call that you never want to get, that you hear other people receiving, and you hope and pray that you never get it. But when you do, your world stops.
We also learned that UVA is resuming classes for tomorrow after they were canceled today. Jean, UVA officials stated that students will not have to complete graded assignments or take exams before Thanksgiving break to allow them time to process and heal from everything that's happened. And we'll bring you more on today's press conference with UVA's athletic director and coach tonight in sports.
All right, a lot for those students to process and families, of course. Isabella,
Thank you. On Virginia Tech's campus, meanwhile, the community.
Yeah. So you heard that one witness, that one sister who said Ryan, her name was Ryan Lynch, if I'm saying that, she stated she heard this man state, allegedly, Jones state, you guys are always messing with me, which she thought was weird, was out of the blue, and that's how it started. So I don't know if he was rehashing something old or if they did say something. Everything's gonna come out eventually. We wait till all the facts. As a general rule, you know, as an attorney, I believe in the presumption of innocence. You're innocent till proven guilty. He may have some mental defects. We don't know. What's going on, PD Chicago? Chi-Town in the building. What's up, buddy? We don't know, man. So how do we stop? The question I guess people will say is, Gavin, how do we stop these mass shootings? We're tired of hearing, and we keep people in our thoughts and prayers and so forth. People say they're tired. How do we stop that? Well, you go back to tradition. It's the same thing that's always been done, is that we gotta stop the betaism and raise young men like men have to be raised. You heard from even the video, and Brother Darius pointed it out, this father, and I don't know their relationship, but he said a month. I haven't talked to my son in a month. How is that? Does he have a relationship with the mother? I get a vibe that they're not married anymore. I get that vibe that that's not his wife anymore, that they had their son, and he only saw him as much time as he needed to, or when he wanted to. I kind of get that vibe, because if you hadn't talked to your son in a month, at some point you get concerned. You should have gotten concerned if you didn't speak to him in a day. I just know I'm not a parent myself, not yet. But I know from my experiences being a son, even when I'm out doing comedy, when I'm out sorry y'all, I gotta answer this message. So I'm sorry, I keep getting these messages. We got to stop. We got to raise young men the way that they need to be raised. They need to have the male in the audience in their presence. I'm sorry, it's women who. This is not saying that women don't do a good job raising their sons or raising a son alone, but a woman is not a man. There are things only a man can teach a young male. Just like there are only things a woman can teach a young female. There's that bond that you have to have, and the reason why I say opposites attract, especially when there's a husband and wife, there's a father and mother in the home. The boy gets love unconditionally from the mother, and the father loves the son unconditionally. You get that balance because men will get disgusted if their sons embarrass them or do something a certain way, but mama is going to love you irregardless. And that's important to have. That is important to have. And that's not even with boys who did not have, and I can say this, I have cousins who didn't have their father in their life. And my grandfather was essentially their father figure. Their great grandfather, their great uncle, my grandfather helped raise them and chastised them when they did wrong. My grandfather, who I talk about all the time here, Arthur Duplessis, 96 years old, rest in peace. World War II veteran, worked 2 jobs, was a longshoreman and a barber. He cut hair on the weekend. He worked the longshore during the week. Sometimes he would go to the hospitals and cut people's hairs, just so that they could be ready for work. He would fill in for the barber there. That's something I just learned. But yeah, he would do stuff like that. And, he played a role in all of our lives. I have my father there, but about things he did and didn't do. And when he was raised watching me, he and my grandmother, we had to do what they say. We had to listen to them. Yeah, I'm an adult, and I'm an adult kid still checking in with my parents. And one day I'm gonna have kids. I probably will do the same thing. Of course, I do believe you have to give your children some space. I know he's not going to hear that because he's on the phone. But it's understandable why you parents need to watch out for their kids because tragedies can happen. But that also means you don't stop living your life. See, I don't blame the gun. And the reason why I'm not talking about gun control is because this was already a gun-free zone, ladies and gentlemen. And you can't frisk everybody going on a bus or anything. There's no stop. There's a no-win situation with this. You just never know. That's why the old saying, stay ready so you won't have to get ready. Stay ready so you don't have to be ready. I don't know how we could have prevented this, but something maybe earlier had he's an adult. He made his decision. And there are adult consequences to this. And that's something that I learned even from my father. You know, one of the things he told me was attitude determines altitude. How far you get in life depends on you. And that's important to know. And that's important for young men, especially when they choose the way of the gun, like in situations like this. And I'm keeping his presumption of innocent rights intact. This stuff happens. There's a consequence to that. Now you got to go to jail. Now you got to go in front of a judge. You're going to have to answer why as to these charges. So that's things he's going to have to think about. But y'all, I'm going to wrap this up because I got to run. But hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Please donate to the Cash App, PayPal, and Zelle, and Venmo that you see at the bottom. As you know, our channel is not monetized, so any support you can give is helpful. Please donate. Please do so. Thank you, Danielle. My daughter just called to tell me that she's leaving work right now. Yeah, I know you're happy. Danielle, I'm glad your baby is doing fine. Meanwhile, guys, if you are in the New Orleans area, I got to promote this because it is time. If you are in the New Orleans area, as you all know, we have a comedy show that's coming out this Saturday at the Well. I need all of you who are in the Louisiana area, bring your ass to the Well and get your laugh on, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a great night of comedy. We got Shep Kelly headlining. We got Brandon Haynes, Duke Relly, Corey Mosley, and Chubu. This is a show you don't want to miss. I need you all of my New Orleans family, to come on out and support. Yeah, that's when my lining was in shape then, man. That's not airbrushed. And bring a canned good for the needy. It's Thanksgiving. We want to give some food away to the less fortunate. So bring canned good for the needy. Yes, indeed, I'll have a box ready for that. So yeah, please come on out and support fam. It would be real. I would really appreciate it if you did. Buy your tickets on Eventbrite, ladies and gentlemen, eventbrite.com. That's the comedy show at the Well, and I'm your host, G Rich, aka GavinRichard. Now, the other thing I want to talk about too, while we have you here, is since it is the holidays, I don't know how many of you have ordered your Creole seasoning blend. Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com, ladies and gentlemen. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nawny's goes great with every dish. I want you to please go and order you some Nawny's Creole Blends right now on GoDaddy. Go to Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com. Get you a bottle, ladies and gentlemen, to put that seasoning on. You're going to enjoy it. Also, guys, I need you to go to Amazon Kindle, buy The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr. And of course, check out our songs, Video Soul and Gotta Get On Up. Now, we have gotten on down, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to get on up and get out of here. I will see you all on Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. I know I'm going to try. We might have a pre-recorded show on Thursday. I'm not quite sure, but we're going to work it out, ladies and gentlemen. But in the meantime, please go ahead and download and purchase Gotta Get On Up. Support this channel, family. All right, y'all. I love you. Peace out.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll be. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on Earth, Wind, and Fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop, I'll do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you're breathing, you're achieving. So if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor.
Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor.
Get on up, baby. Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up, baby.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.